Our next story is from the Heart Speaker. So Sterling is a public speaker for mental health. His mission is to help end the stigmas surrounding mental health. Sterling's story is about how his pain and darkness turned into his driving force. So here we are. Thank you, Sterling.
Thank you. All right. So for me to really start my story, I need to say one thing. My life and everyone who I've become, it's due to one person, and that's my mom. My mom was the most incredible human that's ever touched this earth. So her life started a bit rough. She was born in Johannesburg in South Africa, moved when she was 3 years old to England, and then stayed there until she was 18 when her father passed away of cancer, and she moved here. But her story of struggle really started when she was about 13. That's when she was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes. So I believe, if I'm correct, I saw the insulin. You're diabetic. Okay, cool. I was like, what? So my mom was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes. And back in the 60s, when she was diagnosed, they didn't really know a lot about type 1 diabetes. So two things she knew. Insulin made her fat, and she could never have kids. That's what she was told. So she lived her life. She partied. Her 20s, she spent traveling the world, using rich guys as credit cards, buying her rich clothes, going to Bahamas and like Cuba, and all these amazing places and these stories that I wish to live one day. But the fact is, because she thought she just had to live young and just die fast, right? Like, what did it matter? And then at age 33, she had a surprise pregnancy with my sister. And she was like, oh fuck, I can have kids. I need to start living my life properly. And then she had me 2 years later, but sadly for her, her health caught up to her. So for me, the best part about her was she protected me from everything. So as she said, I'm a speaker of mental health, and my mental health story really started when I was 17, and I'll get to that. It was funny though, I was in therapy, and I was talking to therapy, and we were going through my life story, like how they do when you're in therapy. They're like, you're 2 years old and you walk through your earliest memories and all that. And I was telling this guy, a lot of these memories should have caused me trauma, and a lot of these memories should have made me depressed when I was a kid and anxious and stuff. But with my mom and her guiding sword, I felt nothing. I loved life. I was a happy-go-lucky kid with all the things that happened to me in my childhood, all because of her. And like as I said, her health caught up to her. So when I was in grade 9, I was this big kid. I was 6'2", 220 pounds in grade 9. So I was starting on the senior football team right away. The coach didn't let me. So my life was great. I was going to parties. I was hanging with all the cheerleaders. Like, everything was great. But my mom's health declined. So she had got diagnosed with heart issues, and she had a heart attack. She had a quadruple bypass, which she was told she wasn't able to survive. That was a rough night. I don't want to relive that. But moving forward, she had the most strength. She got diagnosed with kidney failure and had to go on dialysis 4 times a week, which is more than the normal. The normal is 2 to 3 times a week. 4 times a week, she was in the hospital getting her blood pulled out of her and re-put in because her kidneys couldn't do it for her. And during this time, I continued to live my life. Championship after championship for high school, teen tour band, all the great things that I had in my life, while her life was taken down. And this is where I came to where my mental health story started. My 17th birthday, November 22nd, 2010. I wake up to my mom yelling my name. Now, when you're turning 17 and you're woken up to your mom yelling your name, what do you think's going to happen? You have some sort of, maybe a car in the driveway, maybe you have some sort of present, you have a cake right off the bat, like life's good, right? Sadly not. I woke up to my mom passed out, completely not coherent, on the ground, dehydrated, and just the worst situation I've ever seen. Like I said, her health was bad, but not this. I've never woken up to her just on the ground. So who here, raise your hands, have you watched the movie Fault in Our Stars? The scene in the gas station where the main character, he has cancer, he has snot running down his nose, he's in bad shape, and his partner wants to call the ambulance, and he pleads with her not to. That was my mom. I was telling her, Mom, I need a call, I need help. And she's like, I'll disown you. If you call an ambulance, I'll disown you. So I ran down the stairs. I was crying, bawling, snot, all that, but I called the ambulance because I had to help her. I couldn't do anything for her. They could. She never left the hospital. So let's fast forward to Christmas. I was working at Future Shop at the time, I just went to a Christmas party and I was going to my friend's house for Christmas Eve. Obviously, my mom's in the hospital and I didn't have anywhere to go, so my friends welcomed me into their household for their Christmas dinner. So I was on my way there and my mom called me. She's like, Sterling, can you drive into the hospital? And I was a 17-year-old boy going to go hang with my buddies. You think I wanted to go ditch that for the hospital? She's like, no, mom, I'm working, I can't come. So she's like, all right, Sterling, I'll have to tell you over the phone. And I'm like, tell me what, Mom? She was like, they found out what was wrong with me. I'm like, what is it? She was like, I have stage 4 stomach cancer and it's uncurable. That hit me like a bed of rocks. But at that point, I couldn't tell her that I was lying to her, so I had to continue with my lie. I'm like, fuck, Mom, I'll come in tomorrow. I'll see you tomorrow morning. We'll deal with it then. So I walked to my friend's door, I knocked on it. They knew stuff was wrong. My eyes were red from crying and all that, and I just fell apart in their arms. So that was Christmas Eve that year. And then a few months later, she was fighting. They gave her 6 months, and she was doing fine after 3. So we were sitting there celebrating her birthday. Her family came in from England. Everyone was there to celebrate because realistically it was her last birthday. And she pulled my sister and myself aside, and she was like, guys, I can't do this anymore. I'm in too much pain. I've lived a life. I can't do it. And me myself, I could barely visit my mom in the hospital as is. I hate hospitals. I hate sickness. I hate death. So I couldn't bear myself to see my mom in that situation. So I was like, okay, Mom. My sister completely opposite. She was like, no, keep fighting. Ultimately, though, my mom decided with me and took herself off dialysis. So they upped her drugs, they helped her feel numb, and ultimately her body started to shut down. So 3 days later, the day after Valentine's Day, and 4 days before her birthday, my mom passed away at age 53. And that's the day I realized that my world shook. The person who protected me from all anguish, the person who protected me from all harm, she was gone. My world was shaken, and everything that I ever felt that would have been traumatic came rushing in. I instantly dropped out of high school. I instantly fell to drugs. The second night after my mom passed away, that was the first time I did a hard drug. And yeah, that was my life for 3 years. Me and my sister, we took over the townhouse that we were living in. We started paying rent. So I worked 2 jobs, and I did a lot of drugs. That was my life. My friends were graduating college, they were graduating high university, and I was sitting there with no high school diploma, and the only thing to my name was a Cusack of weed. And the saving grace, the crazy thing about my saving grace was my sister coming to the basement and saying, Sterling, we're moving out, I'm moving with my boyfriend, we need to find a place to live. So I was 19 years old at this point, and I'm like, what the fuck do I do? Like, I have no clue. Luckily for me, it was sort of like a light bulb, like if you're religious, a God moment, whatever it was. I remembered I had a card, and I went scourging through my room to find that card. It was a card called Bridging the Gap, and this company works through the Canadian Children's Aid Society, and they help youth from ages 16 to 25 get to the next steps of their life. They bridge the gap from where you are to where you want to be. So I met this lady named Christy Roberts. She was my social worker, and she saved my life. She noticed something about me. I was the most self-aware person, but to a fault. I knew why I couldn't go to school. I had no motivation. I knew that. I figured everything out about me that was wrong, and I focused way too much on that. And she helped me turn that hatred for myself, that loathing for myself, and the self to really want to kill myself. She saved me from 3 suicide attempts. She was the person who was on the other end of the phone when I was on the bridge. She was the person that was on the other end of the phone when I had the bottle of pills ready to swallow them all. She was the person that helped me love myself. She was the person who helped me turn all that pain, all that suffering into my purpose and my drive for what I'm doing. So she helped me go back to high school. She helped me find a way to get the motivation to get up every morning at 7:30 and go to school in another city just because they're the only ones that can help me graduate in time to get off into university. A year later, she saw me on my high school graduation. She helped me walk across the stage, and she helped me get to Ottawa. And that's where I came here today. I went to Carleton University for psychology, and yes, I faced up and downs, but I now know that all that pain I went through, all the suffering, and all the torment that my mom had to go through was for the purpose of helping someone else and showing my story. Because let's be real, why the hell else did I lose my mom at 17? My only parent, my rock, my best friend. There should be no other reason of me losing that person other than to help other people out. So that's what I'm making that, and that's what my purpose is. I will end the stigma of mental health. By the time I take my last breath, people will be able to call in sick to work with depression and with anxiety, and the same way they could call in sick with the flu or a cold. That is my promise to you guys. And the question I will always ask is what keeps you strong when you're facing those low moments again in your mental health, because mental health is a lifelong journey. What keeps me going? I look down at my arm, and this is a memoir tattoo for my mom. And if I really need help and I can't remember her strength, I'll put it on the other side because the mic, my bad. I look in my pocket and I pull out a picture of my mom. She is my strength, she's my story, and I am who I am because of her. So my message for you guys is this: no matter how painful life gets, no matter how bad things get, remember that this pain has a purpose. And the pain of today is the purpose of tomorrow, and you will be able to make an impact and you'll be able to connect with someone. So go out, share your story, share your pain, because someone out there needs it. Someone out there needs to know it's going to be okay, and you will connect with them. So thank you so much for taking the 10 minutes to listen to my life story. I love you all, and thank you for doing this.